On this video, I would like to continue what I have been doing in the book of Revelation. I am in Revelation chapter 17, verse 7. We're looking at the Greek text, reading it, translating it, looking at the grammar, along with some comments, some brief comments. So we have seen the picture of the great harlot and the beast, which I think clearly represents the Roman Empire and all of the persecution of believers, the woman being drunk with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus, looking no doubt at the Roman Empire and all the horrible things that were going on. And John is writing to continue the future of the Roman Empire, possibly, and how this will eventually end up leading up to the coming of Christ. So we're at verse 7, and it reads, Kae pen moecha angelos. And I saw her, and the angel, but the angel said to me, Apon is from lego, the aorist indicative active third person singular. Diati et thaumasas, why do you marvel? Notice that thaumasas is from thaumazo. It's the aorist indicative active second person singular. Why do you marvel? Ego eromoi ta musterion tes gunaikad. I will say to you the mystery of the woman. Ego ero is the future indicative active first person singular from lego. So I will say to you the mysterion, the mystery of the woman. That is, what is the woman about in terms of being the Roman Empire and how it continues, possibly through time, in the world system. Kai tu theriu tu bastadzantas altain. That is, and the beast who bears her. Bastadzantas is the present participle genitive singular from bastadzo. So I'm going to tell you about the woman, John is saying, and the beast that is bearing her. And the beast represents the, can we say, the political system holding up the Roman Empire. The beast that is bearing her. Then he goes on to ekantas tas hepta kephalas kaita deca kerata. And that is the one who is having the 7 heads and the 10 horns. Notice here, ekantas is your present active participle genitive singular from echo. So I'm going to tell you about the woman and the beast that is bearing her. Notice what he says about the beast. Ta therion ha edes ein, kai uk esten, kai mele anabainen ektes abusu, kai es apaleon hupage. That is, the beast which you saw was and is not and is about to ascend out of the abyss and depart unto destruction. or perdition. Notice here, the beast which you saw, Ades, again, is from charao, your aorist indicative active, second person singular. So the beast which you saw was. Ain is from ami, the imperfect indicative active, third person singular from ami. Was and is not. Estin is from ami, present indicative active, third person singular. Kai, mele, from melo, and is about, another present indicative active, third person singular, is about anabainen, to ascend out of the abyss. Anabainen is your present active infinitive from anabino. So the beast which you saw was and is not and is about to ascend out of the abyss, kai es apaleon hupage, and to go away unto perdition. Hupage is your present indicative active, third person singular from hupago. Kai thalmastes santai hoi katoi kuntes epi tes gates. And the ones that dwell down upon the earth will be marveling, will be caused to marvel. Notice here, thalmastes santai is your future indicative passive, third person plural from thalmazo, will be in a state of marveling. The ones who dwell down, these are the earth dwellers. Katoi kuntes is from katoi keo, your present active participle, nominative masculine plural. The ones that dwell down upon the earth will be in a marveling state at what is seen here. And then he continues, Hon u gegraptai ta anima epi ta biblion tes zoes. Of whom, by the way, the relative pronoun genitive plural in the hon here, of whom, who the name have not been written. Notice gegraptai is your perfect indicative passive, the name that has not been written, third person singular from grapho. Epi ta biblion tes zoes, upon the book of life, apa katabales cosmo, from the foundation of the world. In other words, John is probably thinking that true believers have their name written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. A city would often have a book of its inhabitants, and so the city of God has its inhabitants etched in God's book of life from the foundation of the world. And it's interesting, in Ephesians 1, we were chosen in Christ before the foundation of the world, Paul writes, believers. So those who have not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, who see the beast, blepanton ta therion, hati ein kai uk estin kai porestai, that is, they of the ones who observe or see the beast. Notice blepanton is your present participle, active, genitive plural from blepo, who see the beast that was, ein, is your imperfect indicative active, third person singular from ami, and is not, uk estin, from ami, and paristai. In other words, they're going to look at the beast that was and is not, and actually is going to uh, come on the scene. It's interesting as we're looking at this. Paresta is your future active indicative from pare mi, that will be present. So, in other words, they're going to look at the beast that was and is not and will be present. So it looks like we're looking at the final wrap up of the world system of the beast that was and is not, was part of the Roman Empire, and yet is not, and yet will be. So he continues, Odechanus ha ekon Sophion. Here is the mind that is having wisdom. Ekon is from echo. It is your present active participle, nominative masculine singular from echo. Here is the mind that is having wisdom. So he begins to define what the beast is like. Notice it goes on, Hai hepta kephalai hepta ore asin. The 7 heads are 7 mountains. Asin is your present indicative active, third person plural from me. Hapu he gune kathetai ep alton, where the woman sits upon them, from kathemi, present indicative middle, third person singular from kathemi. So the 7 heads represent, no doubt, the 7 hills of Rome, where Rome is sitting, and kai basileis hepta asin. In other words, the 7 heads are 7 mountains where the woman is sitting upon them, and there are 7 kings. So he's seeing this symbolically, representing 7 kings. And asin again is your present indicative active, third person plural from me. Then he goes on, hoi pente epesan, 5 have fallen. Epesan is from pipto. It is the aorist indicative active, third person plural. 5 have fallen. Ha es estin. 1 is estin, present indicative active, third person singular. And ha alas upo eothen. And another has not yet come. Eothen is your aorist indicative active, third person singular from erkami. So 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other has not yet come. There is a debate as to what this means. Some take it as 5 emperors that had fallen, and 1 yet being, and another not coming. And possibly the 1 being would be Domitian, and then followed by the final anti-Christian Antichrist. It's interesting, the 5 that have fallen is debated. Some take it to be 5 different kingdoms throughout time, starting, let's say, at the very beginning, moving up to Rome, and then the future Roman Empire. We don't know. There was a big debate of interpreters on what this means. But it goes on, kai hatan eothe legan altan de menai. And when he should come, that's the other of like kind of king, but yet different. Whenever he should come, eothe is your aorist indicative or aorist subjunctive active third person singular from erkamai. It is necessary for him to remain a little while. Menai is your aorist active infinitive from meno. So he will remain for a little while. Kai ta therian ha ein, kai uk estin, kai autas agda as estin, kai ekton hepta estin, kai es apoleon upage. The beast, which was and is not, even he is the eighth. He is out of the seven, and he departs unto perdition. The beast again, which was, ein, imperfect indicative active, third person singular from a me, and is not. In other words, he's looking at a future from John's perspective, possibly final anti kind of Christ beast, is not. Even he is the eighth. That is, he is of the seven, like the seven, and no doubt like a Nero revived, but he is different, and so he is considered the eighth because of his difference. It says, Kai ekton hepta estin, he is out of the seven, possibly someone like a revived Nero, and es apoleon upage, and departs into perdition, or departs into destruction. Then we move on in chapter 12, and he's going to talk about how the 10 horns which you saw represent 10 kings whose kingdom they have not yet received, but will have authority as kings 1 hour. They will receive authority 1 hour with the beast. I'm going to stop there because I don't want to go super long on these videos. So I think we'll stop at this point. And there's a debate again. What are we talking about as we move on? Many feel it's like a future anti-Christ system that ultimately will do away with the present world system, Rome, replace it, and then be finally defeated in this final anti-Christian system by the coming of Christ. But I'm going to stop there, and we'll pick it up next time. I'm trying to hold these to about 15 minutes, and I'm hoping this is helpful. My main goal is working at the grammar, but doing comments and trying to share what some are saying about the meaning of the text.